Havighurst's developmental theory. Hello everybody, welcome to my video. Today in this video, we're gonna discuss the topic of Havighurst's developmental theory. This is a part of psychological learning and development subject. Today, we will learn the Havighurst's developmental theory. So, let's get into it. Havighurst's developmental task. What is a developmental task? According to Havighurst, a developmental task which arises at certain period in life, this leads to success and happiness in one's life. If a task is not accomplished, it leads to unhappiness and delay in accomplishment of later tasks. According to Havighurst, a developmental task should be accomplished to a particular stage of life. So, if it is done at a correct age, it leads to happiness of a particular development. Is not end in a particular stage, it leads to unhappiness. This is what a definition of developmental task. In short, skills that should be mastered at certain stage in life should be done. If not, they lead to unhappiness. So the task that should be done in a particular time has to be done in a particular time only, which leads to happiness. If it doesn't done in a particular time, if it is to be delayed, it leads to unhappiness. This is Havighurst trying to say on. And the different stages of Havighurst's development theory are infancy and early childhood, later childhood, adolescence, early adulthood, later adulthood, and the old age. So on different kind of developmental tasks are physical maturation, personal values, and society. The development across human life can be observed in these three different sources. Means that aspects they can find the developmental stages and the physical maturation, personal values, and society. We all know that physical maturation related to learning to walk, talk, control of urine, and etc. And coming to the personal values, it is choosing an occupation, outlook for life, one's own philosophy. And then society, we all know how society individual behave in a society and how they get adjusted to society. So this is what the task development which the development depends upon on. So the first stage of Havighurst's developmental task is infancy and early childhood, which is from 0 to 5 years. What happened in this stage? A child learns to talk, take solid food, walk, urine, bowel control, learning sex differences. So, all these things happen in infancy and early childhood stages. The next stage is the late childhood from 6 to 12 years old. What happens here is that learning physical tasks, games, developing moral values, good attitude, cooperation, reading, writing, independence, and etc. The next stage is adolescence from 13 to 19 years old. What happens here? Accepting one's physique, developing good habits, balancing stress and storm, social acceptable behavior, emotional maturity, intellectual skills. So, we all know that adolescence is a stage of stress and storm. A child should know how to manage this stress and storm and live peacefully and learn good moral and acceptable behavior and learn intellectual skills. All these things happen in adolescence. And the next stage is the early adulthood from ages 20 to 30 years old. Here what happened is that selecting a mate, learning to live with a partner, starting a family, rearing children, managing a home, starting an occupation. Everything related to settlements happens here. Settling in a good job, settling in good salary, settling in a good mate, all these things happen in early adulthood. The next stage is the late adulthood, ages from 31 to 60 years old. What happens here is helping teenage children to become happy and responsible adults, achieving social responsibility, adjusting to aging parents, accepting psychological changes. And the last age is the late maturity. Here, the ability and strength and health becomes less. So, decreasing stress and health happens here. Retirement and reduced income, death of spouse, establishing relations with one's own group, this kind of things happens in late maturity. So, this information about Havighurst's developmental task and all the stages which happens in the human life according to Havighurst. Compare and contrast Sontrak from Havighurst's developmental theory. Developmental stages cited by Sontrak are the same with the Havighurst 6 developmental stages only, that Havighurst did not include prenatal period. Havighurst combined infancy and early childhood, while Sontrak mentioned them as two separate stages.